contact there with. Oh, they're starting to wreck! Around goes Grendel right in front of the pack!
Oh boy. Yeah, that one was totally avoidable. And yeah, just misjudges.
Number 40, but looks like it won't happen. He's trying to split the middle. They're wrecking! Oh no! They're all wrecking!
Everybody!
Great job. Contact with the neck code is gonna cause a big pile.
Big crap!
Oh my god! Oh!
Welcome everybody here live to the Daytona International Speedway for the Pocono Reenactment 200 here at Daytona for the first running of the iSCAR DeNise Design Series. My name is Dewey Schramm.
My name is Ezeckiel Reyes, and as you see right now, let me rephrase that. As you cannot see right in front of your screen, a visual, like a very small visual of Daytona International Speedway.
As you can see, we can...
Yeah, as you can see, we cannot see. And...
Thank you, Link Neal.
Oh boy, where do we start? Just as I thought Speed Weeks wouldn't get crazier, here we are sitting at Daytona with a bag of fog, and yeah, I have no words to describe the very the crazy sight that we're seeing right now. Well, we could barely see anything, as we said, but man.
Yeah, this was unfortunately a session error that, had some dynamic weather and it somehow defaulted to fog, so here we are. But we've had quite the speed week so far, and it wraps up here tonight for the DeNise Design Series. Currently a minute and a half remaining here in practice. Colton Zimmer, who's been strong the entire speed weeks, currently on top of the board, but we have some pack racing here, trying to get some good laps in. These are the first time that these guys have run these Xfinity Series cars. They're going to do a huge jump right here. Style points.
Oh my gosh. If that's not a representation of how everybody's feeling about this session, I really don't know what is, but...
Yeah. But yeah, this is the first time that these guys, at least in iSCAR, have run these Xfinity cars since the last Super Speedway Series ended back in July. So, of course, this package races differently than the other ones that we've already seen this week. So, always a good idea to get some practice in. Then, of course, flip yourself into the turn one wall. That's the most important part. But only 30 seconds remaining here in this foggy practice. But I mean, I was going to ask you what you're looking most forward to tonight, but can we actually look at anything tonight?
Not really sure. It's going to be really unpredictable, but for qualifying, a bit of session changes. There's not going to be any dynamic wind playing into effect, so it shouldn't be a game of luck once qualifying happens for course, arrow push and such like that. We're going to scoot ourselves to the side and get a couple things situated. We'll be right back right after the national anthem. So rise up from your hats as we salute our nation's colors. Welcome back here live at Daytona as drivers take their fastest two around the racetrack as of right now for the iSCAR DeNise Design Series. Daytona 200 kicking off the closing down the speed weeks here soon, and this is the last chance for all these drivers to find themselves in victory lane, so I'm interested to see who will be on top of the scoring pile-in after 80 laps.
I think we might need an LCQ tonight. I mean, this section has... Yeah, we're going to have an LCQ once again. 62 people in here. Filled up very, very quickly. So we're going to have, what, the top... How many are going to lock in here?
Top 38 in qualifying lock themselves in, and after that it's 5 through the LCQ.
So 19 drivers, or no, 24 drivers will go for 5 spots. Kyler Wynn currently fastest on the board. Peter Kenny, last night's Daytona 250 winner, after a controversial disqualification of Dylan Basin, who sits 4th on the board. He sits in 2nd place, and all these times are going to keep changing before this session is over. And you see how close everybody is. You know, 1st or 2nd through 20th separated by only about 0.3 of a second. So if you want to get yourself, or 3/100ths actually, so if you want to get yourself into this top 38, you really do need to get yourself a good lap, because even just a couple of hundredths of a second can separate yourself from being in that top 38 and having to go through the dreaded LCQ in the fog.
Yeah, that's right. Some couple things to note as we progress with the session. 75% fuel for tonight's event, so therefore it should be a 2-stop race. As well as, of course, fog playing a huge factor for tonight. Top 38 in LCQ lock themselves in. Top 38 in qualifying lock themselves in. It's top 5 in LCQ that get themselves in. I basically just repeated what you just said, so I'm just trying to find the puzzle pieces so we could get some type of baseline to work ourselves through this broadcast. But for right now, everybody just sort of loading along, trying to get themselves set up.
Well, we have ourselves an SPM surge into this top 10 with just 10 seconds left to qualifying. 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th currently held by SPM Racing Machines, so they're looking pretty strong here for tonight's race. And that will do it here for qualifying. And I hope it'll make the same mistake I made last time. I don't know if that's Parker White or Kevin White Jr. on the pole. We weren't sure last time, so we'll double check on that for you. But looks like Eli O'Quinn will sit on the pole here for the LCQ, and Garrett Hess will start himself on the outside.
Row number 2 going to consist of Max Urich in the number 6 machine, Quinton Warman right alongside of him.
Eric Sutcliffe, returning name to iSCAR this season. He'll be row number 3. Jay Mulder, one of the rookies here this season, starts himself in 6th.
Glenn Bundren Jr. in the number 37 will start himself in 4th place alongside John Canizaro in the number 74.
John's at a rough speed week, so hopefully he can get himself back on track here tonight. Jonathan T. Baker, runner-up the other night, I believe in the ARCA race, in 9th. And Jake Sylvia rounds out your top 10 here for the LCQ.
Row number 6 going to consist of Hunter Rupp and Paul Granata in the number 04.
Joe Burgee, who has DNQ'd for every single race this week. Hopefully, he can get himself into this top 5 and make a race this week. And William Schmidt in 14th to his outside.
Row number 15, not row number 15, but 15th place going to consist of James Youngman, and 16th right alongside of him, it's Gabe Allen.
Jeremiah Bethune starts off row number 9, and Ibrahim Dajani will be to his outside in 18th.
Row 10 going to consist of Ryan Kendrick, right alongside in number 85 is Scott Yost.
Brayson Collins, row 11, Matthew Klein to his outside in 22nd.
The final order, and the final row actually, Kenneth Bueno, the 117, and Henry Clappert in the number 34. And these drivers are starting to roll themselves off for the only LCQ of the night. Again, top 5 secure themselves on in. Those positions currently being held by the 29, 777, 6, 94, and 67. as of right now, but I'm sure that entire top 5 is definitely going to shuffle as we progress through tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to see. This is one of the more trickier packages between, the ARCA cars and the trucks and the Cup cars. This is one of the ones we have to put a lot more effort in to make some passes. So perhaps this top 5 could stay the same. We'll have to see, but it's Daytona, so I doubt it. But if there's any race this week where I think the top 5 could be the most secure in terms of staying there, I believe it's this one.
Yep, that's alright. Again, the low downforce package doesn't allow for a lot of suck-up on the Xfinity cars, and also some notes to keep on the Xfinity machines. These cars do get hot easier than a couple of others as well, so I'm interested to see on how people will push as we get ourselves ready off of turn number 4. Pace car is going to scoot itself on left, and Eli O'Quinn will be leading this LCQ to the green.
I still can't believe we're racing in fog.
I can't believe it either, but it's iSCAR. Things happen, and here we are.
Yep, so only 10 laps for this LCQ, so if you're back in those last couple rows, if you're starting, 20th on back or so, you need to get yourself up towards that front as quickly as possible. With only 10 laps to work with, there's no time to waste, especially if they wreck. If you end up getting caught in a wreck as well, your chances are pretty much over. So I would not be surprised if we see 3 wide here fairly early.
Yep, that's right. Toward the back, a bit of scrambling around where Joe Berge is in the number 83, but up front, led by Garrett Hess in the 777 into turns 3 and 4. He has a pusher, one of the Nova machines right behind him. That's Eli O'Quinn, the number 29, alongside Quinton Warman.
Yeah, Garrett was able to clear pretty quick from the outside, so the first time we've already seen that tonight. We'll see if he can stay himself there. The 94 of Warman now first up high with, I believe, Max Urich behind him. Oh no, Urich's on the bottom. I think that's Jay Mulder behind him, second on the high side, as we can barely see anything here through turn 2, but Garrett still leads on the bottom, coming to complete our second lap here shortly.
Yep, that's right. They go down the back straightaway, and you could. Man, I'm trying to find some camera angles so we could see a bit better. The 29 to Eli leaked himself up to the high side just a bit, nearly 3 wide. We will go 3 wide around the number 94, getting left out in the middle. No, it looks like the 113 of, I think that's Jay Mulder. He tried splitting the middle. I mean, he tried splitting the 94 out, but he actually baited out the number 74, John Cannizzaro, to the high side. There are 3 wide also right behind him, so I'm not sure Cannizzaro is going to fall as bad as I thought he would, but right now he's unfortunately outside that top 5 as well.
Jake Sylvia picking up a few positions. He's now 3rd up on that high side, but not quite in the top 5 yet in order to advance. Jay Mulder currently the holder of the last transfer spot. Glenn Bunger making his way up there on the bottom in that 37, but still can't quite get up there, of course. You can't pass on the apron, and if you try to eject yourself, there's not a whole lot they can do just yet, but it would not surprise me if shortly we'll see some people try to jump up 3 wide as Jay Mulder tried to a lap ago.
Yep, that's right. This time by, we'll see 7 laps to go, and being held by the final transfer position is, I think, Max Urich at the line. He's side by side with Jake Sylvia, so it's going to be a shootout if these two are locked side by side on the white flag. But as of right now, this top 4 are securely still in unless one line gets interrupted, like that outside line starting to fade back a bit. I'm not expecting anything to be out of whack. Here comes to the inside, the 78, 3 wide right behind.
Yeah, 3 wide starting to form. We'll have to see how long it stays there. I believe Mulder might be the first car on the high side, and I can't even tell you who the second car behind him is. But Hess still leads. Yeah, that'd be Gabe Allen. Hess still leads on the bottom here, coming to 6 to go, so almost halfway through this LCQ. Garrett's still firmly in, but will we see any moves to try to jump up high for the win, or will we see people try to stay calmer up towards the front and just try to make sure they're actually in?
I'm pretty sure for this top 2, they're going to stay themselves toward the front and run their own race, but from my guess, 3rd on back, it's going to be a guessing game around that area, because anybody behind those top 5 could easily just jut out a line. Contact over the back. Whoa. Around goes Kenneth.
Oh, there they go. 1 car goes around. That's the 117 of Kenneth Bueno. another car involved. That's the 05 of Bethune. I believe that might be the only two people that did go around, but they will not be moving on to the main event here tonight. But I was about to point out, Mulder and Gabe Allen lost a lot of positions because nobody went with them when they were up high, so they fell all the way to the back of this pack, and now Jake Sylvia leading this outside as Warman was able to clear Garrett Hess.
Paul Granada has worked himself in that 04 now into the top 5 out of nowhere. Of course, the Nova car right alongside to the inside of him. That would be Eli O'Quinn as they go down the back straightaway. Oh boy, they're getting a bit squirrely, just a bit. Nobody's really going anywhere. They're all locked side by side, and this in turn is still keeping this pack all in one piece, but I'm sure
We're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, coming to 4 to go, so past the halfway point here tonight. And as you saw with those two cars spinning, this LCQ does not have cautions. So if you end up wrecking, you are more than likely not going to advance. But for right now, Quinton Warman still pacing the field, but Jake Sylvia trying to get a run up high with Granada behind him. We'll have to see if that 78 can clear down before this is over, as we're briefly on board there with Quinton. And I think we're on board here with the 00 of Ryan Kendrick, currently sitting in 7th as of the previous scoring loop. So he's almost in that top 5, but still a few positions short here as we go into turn 3.
Yeah, he was our last season's champion, that 00 is, and he's trying to push William Schmidt forward to get that outside line to open up the door, maybe for that top 10, for that top 5. But as of right now, everybody's still just locked side by side. Nobody's really going anywhere because of it. This time by 3 laps to go at the wire.
Yeah, they were 3 wide for around 15th there briefly, but that white car on top all by himself. No help whatsoever. And Sylvia's now starting to get a good run here. I think he might get a good one here out of 2. He might be able to try and clear Warman here into 3, but I think the inside got a bit of a run of their own, and they're getting really squirrely now on the outside. This might be where the 3 wide really starts to kick in.
I think on the white flag, you'll see that third line come into fruition, but right now, nobody's being ambiguous because they're getting dropped back, just like the 4 of Ibrahim Dejani in that number 4 machine. He drops himself back, looks like all the way back to 15th place, unfortunately. Oh, there's a wreck!
Hunter Up goes around, a lot of other cars around. Gabe Allen, I believe, involved in that.
That's a big one.
Canazaro's caught up in the mix. A lot of cars. Basically the entire back half of the field. Uric in there as well. That leaves us, it looks like about 7 or 8 cars for 5 spots. Looks like 7. So 2 of these cars in this pack will not make it into the feature, and 5 of them will be lucky enough to. But everybody that just got caught up in that wreck will be out.
Oh, Jake goes around!
He gets turned! And he's the only one that gets wrecked. So now we're down to a 6-car pack. So one of these guys will be out. Who will it be? Kendrick now up in that 6 spot. He's currently the first one out. But with 4 cars on the inside and 2 on the outside, I think William Schmidt might be in trouble here.
Oh, he's trying to push Paul Granada so he can keep himself ahead of the 00, this time by a white flag. And Kendrick has to make something happen. He goes to the high side, so this 5th spot is going to be side by side. It's either going to be the 00 Kendrick or Eli O'Quinn in the number 29.
Quinton Warman still out front, led almost half this race, along with Garrett Hess right behind him in 3rd. Schmidt trying to peak there, potentially to go 3 wide out of 2. I wonder if they're going to try to split Granada and leave him out to dry. But for right now, they're still single or double filed rather into turn 3. Right now, Kendrick has the advantage over O'Quinn, but this is gonna be really, really close coming to the line.
Yup, it's gonna be against the 00 Ryan Kendrick versus the number 29 of Eli O'Quinn. Coming to the checker flag, William gets out of line. Unfortunately, he tries to split it 3 wide up on the high side. That might lose him this race, actually.
Oh, Kendrick, I think Kendrick's the first one out. Quinton Warman wins your LCQ race. He gets clobbered after the finish by Glenn Bundren. And indeed, Ryan Kendrick, your first car out of tonight's event. And Eli O'Quinn, the last lucky one to get in. So Quinton Warman, Garrett Hess, Paul Granada, William Schmidt, and Eli O'Quinn, your 5 people that will advance onward to our main event. Tough break there for Kendrick, for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. That sucks. Last season's champion, missing out by 1 spot. William Schmidt tried to make a move on the high side. Not really sure what he what the thought process behind that was.
Works though.
Yeah, it works.
Stayed him in, but
Still seeing some
And-
drivers cross the start-finish line.
there's Ken Azaro. Tough speed weeks for him. We just had the camera on Joe Burgee, who went 0 for 4 in qualifying for the events this week. So hopefully Joe can get himself back on track in next week's races. But definitely not the start for the season a lot of these guys wanted. But we'll get ourselves set here for our main event. 80 laps of racing in the fog here at Daytona. And we'll get you the starting lineup here for the Daytona 200.
Starting on the low side. Oop, as the grid goes ahead and resets itself. Parker White in the 095. Christopher Weil in the 41.
Chris, the runner-up last night in the 250. Charlie Byer, his teammate, starts in third, the dual number 1 or 2 winner, and Kyler Wynn starts in fourth.
Brady Wildman in 5th position. Carson Poindexter in the number 21 in 6th.
The fourth SPM car in this top 10, Corey Long, starts himself in 7th. Hunter Johnson in 8th.
Peter Kenny in the number going to be in 9th place, and Aaron Mulrooney Jr. in 10th. The rest of the order is going to be shown on your screen. Find your favorite driver, and hopefully he'll come out up top after this 80-lap event. And I'm nervous because there's a.
I'm nervous because I can't see.
Yeah, I'm nervous for all these drivers. Hopefully they can see, but you're up in the stands. Of course, it's a different view of what these drivers are seeing out of the cockpit.
Nick Delicato, your Truck Series winner, back in 22nd. So he's got himself some work to do if he wants to get his second win of the race weekend. Some pretty big names starting farther back in this field. See, Trey Shuttlesworth only 27th on the grid for tonight, so hopefully he can get himself up there competing. Josh Patterson, always aggressive on super speedways. He's got a whole lot of work ahead of him from the 31st spot. Nate Stewart led a good amount of the race last night, but came up just short. Cody Webster, defending Yost Auto Steel Series champ, starts himself in 37th. And here we see the 5 people advancing from the LCQ. And Eli O'Quinn will start shotgun on the field here for tonight.
The fog's sort of clearing up. I see the lights have actually turned on. This will actually transition itself into a night race once we get going here tonight. Yellow 95 of Parker White, the man who started himself up top on the ARCA Wednesday race. Lead the field coming to the green.
Yeah, showing himself as one of the better qualifiers here for the plate races, scoring 2 out of 4 this week. Looks like Trey Shuttlesworth maybe pit road starting here tonight. So looks like he'll have to start from 43rd rather than his original spot of 27th. So we're getting ready to go green here out of 4. The final race here of Speed Weeks. And the pace car will go down pit road here. Parker White, Christopher Weil will lead us to the green. And we are underway here at Daytona for 80 more laps of Speed Weeks.
200 miles left in tonight's race as everybody gets themselves straightened out. Seems as though the fog is clearing just a bit. Not by much as of right now, so...
I'm noticing a difference.
Yeah, I'm noticing a very, very small difference, but it's still there.
Oh yeah, definitely prevalent, but less of an issue than it was at the beginning of the race. Looks like Charlie Byer is going to go down to the bottom along with a few other people and will drop to the rear for the early portion of this race, hoping to avoid a big wreck, and that'll put his teammate Christopher Weil up into the lead with Kyler Wynn in tow. Chris started off Speed Weeks with a win in the Yost Auto Sales Series and got a runner-up finish in the 250 last night, so he's had a pretty good start to his season, now leading here in the last one.
Lap number 2 into the books for a while, and that number 41 start-finish line with a lap lead will add an extra bonus point onto his resume as reports of a pit road wreck right up off the grid from Nick Miller, but we'll have to get a bit of more
hope
updates on
not.
that. Yeah.
Hopefully that didn't involve too many people, but I mean, you see Trey 25 seconds back. He did pit road start, but I don't know how else they would have wrecked. I think one car maybe just brushed the wall there in the middle of the turn, but it looks like they are all right for now. Chris continues to lead as it looks like we're almost just single file here. Got 2 cars on the outside, but except for those 2, this entire top 10 looks to be single file for the early portion of tonight's race.
Yep, everybody just trying to get themselves a nice pace and rhythm. But these 2 cars up on the high side, that's Carson Poindexter. Now add a third one along that lane. Looks like that's Corey Long.
Yes,
they're trying to pull themselves forward inside this top 5 here in just a moment. So
yeah, teammates at work there. Poindexter and Corey both on SPM Racing, along with the race leader. So bit of early teammate action tonight. Kyler makes a move to the outside looking for the race lead, but they're going to go 3 wide here at the line. I'm not sure who that car above him is, but 3 wide already on lap number 4. So a bit more racier than I was expecting for this early part of the race, but as soon as I said they were all single file, they're 2x2 all the way back now.
yeah, I'd say 2x2 about 5-10 rows back now, as I'm having a bit of camera issue. Go ahead and get that situated here in a moment. There we go. Apologies about that, but we have a wider shot of everybody on the racetrack. Working themselves into turn number 3, and now the number 41, Christopher Weil, controls the front spot. As you mentioned, that outside line, they're coming with a head of steam. Now, they're stacking up yet again on the high side.
A couple people moved down to the bottom there, coming to the line, while still out front. But I think that high side might be starting to get a bit more momentum. I believe that's Kyler Wynn still leading it, but I could be mistaken. Still hard to see with the fog, but that is indeed Kyler still leading the outside charge, and I think that's Hunter right behind him. Hunter came really close to winning the 250 last night, but unfortunately got turned going into turn 3 on the final lap and missed out on $80. So that 12 car definitely looking for redemption and perhaps a victory here tonight.
Man who got the $80 though, that number 19, Peter Kenny, working himself on the bottom side. Now he's inside this top 5, or looking himself in. He's currently being displayed in 6th place as of right now. He's the 4th car on that bottom side, number 19 machine. But up front, here comes the challenge for the lead. At 084, Kyler Wynn getting a nice shot from the number 12, Hunter Johnson.
1 car on the apron on the bottom. I think that may have been Brady Weileman, but no harm, no foul there from the 50. And out at 2, Hunter's one of the best pushers in iSCAR, as Peter looks like he'll be dropping to the back part. We saw that car on the apron and noped right out of there. But now Kyler might be able to clear into 3, but can't quite do it, as Chris got a good push from Parker White. But the outside definitely starting to break in here in the early portion of tonight's race.
These are the hardest cars to control under the draft, because you don't have a lot of downforce. You're turning more in the corner than usual, unlike what you see in the truck and cup machines. Because of that, it allows for more spread out and wider racing. You'll definitely see a third line, as now they're starting to stack up with, I think that's Mulrooney up there on the high side. Here we go, nearly just about 3 wide toward the front. Not sure who that car is right up against the safety barrier, but 3x3, 4 rows deep. How about that?
Yeah, somebody jumped up in front of Mulrooney, who was leading that high side. That might be Weileman or Parker White. I'm honestly not sure. But
that's the 98 of Dylan Alt leading that high side charge, and he has a lot of cars right behind him. And
he got a huge head of steam.
Yeah,
wow.
They're coming. They're holding it straight for right now as well, so.
Yeah, Dylan started outside the top 10, I believe also the top 15, so that 98 car already gaining a lot of spots here on lap number 8. So the third line coming in much earlier than I would have anticipated it coming in, but I wonder if this means we'll see 3 wide for most of the race, or if this is just a preview of what we might see with around 10 to go.
Hopefully they keep themselves straight, because this is very, very dangerous for all these drivers up here. But toward the front, look at that. 3x3, I'd say 5 rows deep. Probably the first time we've seen this throughout the speed weeks, as Delicado was thinking of going through that gap right in front of, I think that's Cody Webster, one of the proximity machines up on the high side. But this is one of the fun things about the Xfinity car. It provides way wider racing and easily could make it 3x3 on the start-finish line. And all three lines are really, really strong. Dylan Alt is coming with a head of steam yet again with the two of Mulrooney. I'm sure they're going to go somewhere.
Yeah, Alt and Mulrooney, former teammates at Proximity Racing, still work very well together as they lead this outside charge. But you think this racing is crazy now. Just wait till we go to Talladega later on this season, as somebody jumped up in front of Dylan Alt. I believe that may have been Hunter, to try and either block the outside or maybe gain a bit of momentum from there. But the third line starting to fade now as more people started to jump down into the middle line. So Mulrooney and Dylan may be going in the wrong direction here shortly.
Yeah.
And indeed, Mulrooney dives in.
Yeah, Mulrooney, he might want to...
Oh, we got a car on the apron. Hopefully they stay down there and don't cause an issue. I believe that might be...
Whoa, man, that's Trey Shuttlesworth.
I think Trey may have just gone either 1 or 2 laps down. That pit road start looks like it did not work out for that 119. But a disaster averted there as you make your way into 3. Looks like Corey Long may have had an issue as well. He's gone from the 7th starting spot. He's now back in 42nd. So either he dropped to the back on his own, or he may have spun somewhere, but he's all by himself out of the draft. So I'm not really sure what occurred there, but hopefully he can get himself back in this pack sooner rather than later. I think Kevin White as well may be out of the draft.
Yeah, Corey is, as the pack was in turn number 4, he was just entering turn number 3, so he's definitely lost this lead draft as of right now. But up front, here we go, 3 wide yet again. That's the number 9 of Cody Webster being ambiguous of that high side. Unfortunately, nobody with him. Looks like Alt and Mulrooney want to stay themselves tucked to the bottom. And I think Webster is slowly pulling forward as well. But I think it's easier to make that third line work. As speaking of third line, here comes Alt right in front of Webster as I think a Kyler Wynn got booted right up against the safer barrier. Here we go, 3x3 yet again.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised it came back in as quickly as it did and as quickly as it faded away, but I guess they're being pretty ambitious about making that third line work here. Still only on lap number 12, so still very, very early in the going for this amount of racing, but hey, looks better for us and looks better for the viewers, so I can't necessarily complain, but they've got to be really careful about this, because the last thing you want to do is have the entire field wreck not even halfway through the race, as in Delicado looks like he's dropping to the back now.
Yep, and Delicado dropped himself to the apron. That was the gray car, or the Evo car right there. As oh man, that was really sketchy around that area. And it seems as though Kyler's trying to help Dylan Alt pull forward around Latham Joyner and as well as drag along the number 9 of Cody Webster. Wynn's gonna scoot himself to the middle, and those are 2 teammates as well. Rapid in the middle, proximity or a former proximity car of Dylan Alt right up against the safer barrier, and Hunter Johnson also won proximity as well, so a proximity rapid sandwich as of right now, but the outside line looks like it's just falling apart.
Well, that was interesting because Christopher Weil has led the entire portion of the race up till now, and you see him dropping to the back now, but just him staying on the bottom like he had been the entire time dropped him from 1st to 9th. So that outside really got a huge head of steam, and we have a whole new top 10 now, as Kyler Wynn and Latham Joyner now find themselves side by side for the race lead, as Weil will take a back seat here for the next part of the race. But Kyler looks like he'll lead his 2nd lap of the night so far.
Good for Latham Joyner to work himself inside this top 5 as they're getting aggressive yet again up on the high side. I think that's the 016 of Payne Stewart, as well as the number 9 of Cody Webster trying to make that high side work. They're working themselves around the 42. I think that's Cole Williams stuck in the middle. Not Dylan Alt, but the number 2 of Aaron Mulrooney, as looks like the 70 of Harry Grindle will join up on the high side, and they're going to go forward. Oh, a bit of a bad bump there, I think, by whoever the car was behind Kyler Wynn.
That looks Shane DiMantova.
Yeah, that's right. Shane.
Where'd he come from?
Yeah, where did he come from? I was about to say, like, who was that black car? I thought that was Dylan Alt, but never mind. Shane DiMantova now inside this top 5, and they're 3x3, stacked 4 rows deep now.
Yeah, good to see Shane up there. Looks like he started around 21st, so already 17 spots to the good in tonight's race. But Cody Webster started deep in this field, I believe around 35th or so, and he's now up in this top 10. So that 9 car definitely having one of the better nights of anybody so far in this race, as Hunter now leads to the outside, but I think Latham may be trying to go 3 wide here into 3, but Hunter is the, of course, winningest driver in iSCAR, and he's a great person to work with on the plate tracks if you get the opportunity to, and for right now, he's trying to take, I think that might be Harry with him, I'm not sure, as Mantova goes up high to try to either block or go for the lead, and that'll temporarily put a gap on the inside line.
3 wide up on the high side, it's Nate Stewart and Latham Joyner, joined in by Cody Webster. Right in the middle, it's Shane Mantova, Johnson, and Harry Grindle. And on the bottom side, that would be Kyler Wynn, Aaron Mulrooney, I think, in that number 2 machine, as well as the number 50 of Brady Wildman. And they're all sort of boxed in together on this back straightaway. Everybody all really, really even, as Stewart peaked himself up to the high side, maybe trying to get a bit of air on the nose of that, and he dropped himself, ditching out the 003 Latham Joyner, who was inside that top 5 at the moment. You can see his name up there in the top 5, but unfortunately, it looks like he just got dipped out.
Yeah, it looks like he got left out to dry here in that 003, but still 64 laps remaining in the race, so definitely still quite a bit of time to get himself back up there as this race goes on. But the only guy that's really been up there most of the race is that 095 of Parker White. He's that second car on the inside. And with all this position shuffling, he's the one that's been able to stay constantly up there, as Brady Wheelman now working his way back up there in the 50 on the bottom. Hunter still leading the middle, I believe. I know he's on the outside now. That's Shane leading the middle. Still a bit hard to tell who's who with the fog, but hopefully as this race goes on, it becomes a bit more easy to tell who's who.
Proximity is now hooked up right up against that safer barrier, and looks like they're not going anywhere. Mulrooney, oh, that's not Mulrooney, that's Parker White, excuse me, in the number 095. I thought yeah, there's the 2 of Mulrooney. They're both sporting familiar Toyota schemes.
Yeah, Mulrooney's 4th on the bottom, Parker's 2nd on the bottom. Definitely an easy mistake to make in terms of identifying cars, but Mantova still leading that middle lane with, I believe, Harry Grindle, who's now up to 4th. I think he's 2nd on the high side. But it looks like that 3rd lane has fallen apart once again, so the Prox drivers may try to file in the line here for 3.
Oh, Webster! Whoa. Looks like he got a bit tight entering turn number 3. He scraped the outside wall. Luckily, no wreck there.
Man, I thought that was smoke and it was just fog again. I thought the whole field just wrecked for a split second. Thankfully, not the case, as Kiowa still continues to lead the field, as Harry gets shuffled out, so he's going to drop probably at least 9 or 10 spots, at least through the exit of turn 2. But Kyler's still pacing the field. We'll have to see if he can finally seal the deal and get himself a win here in Speed Weeks.
Poor Harry. He has no friends up there inside this top 10. I know Parker White, Proximity guys, Rapid, they're all working themselves together as, looks like Nate Stewart tags the outside wall. He slows himself down to just about a stop. Some drivers have to fling it to the low side. That was Bayer. And Stewart is going nowhere.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there with that 016, but a tough break for him nonetheless. Mulrooney makes a move up to join that higher line, as Shane Mantova was actually first at the line, so the 52 leads his first lap of the night. Doesn't quite have enough to clear, but he might be able to out of turn 2, as that's now Dylan Alt 2nd on the high side, so he's now back up in this mix again as well.
Tyler Wynn's doing one heck of a job of keeping himself up front. He's led 10 out of this, out of the 20 laps we have run, and we're having reports of Nate Stewart blown engine on the machine.
Ooh,
that's the 3rd engine that has expired this Speed Weeks, and I talked about it during the LCQ and how hot these Xfinity engines get, and there goes another person, unfortunately for Nate Stewart, out.
Yeah, we saw Nate Stewart have an expired motor here just now, so that'll relegate him to a last place finish tonight. I believe Latham Joyner lost an engine. I want to say it was in one of the duels. It was either one of the duels or I believe the Open. But Latham Joyner lost an engine at some point this week.
The ARCA race.
Yeah, the ARCA race. And I forget the third one off the top of my head, but it's definitely not common. Only 3 in the entire speed weeks, but it is possible, and something these guys have to keep in mind, especially now that they've already seen one go by the wayside tonight. So you'll probably see a lot more people start to peek out at various points in the race to get some fresh air to those engines. But for right now, Kyler Wynn still leading the field as we get the 4th waypoint here tonight.
1/4 of the way through. Everybody, I'd say outside this main group, we'll have to scroll all the way back to one of our LCQ drivers, Paul Granada in the 04. We got a stack of Nova and Basin Racing cars right around this area, so it seems as though they're trying to get themselves set up for pit road momentarily. I think another blown motor, or was that smoke that I saw? It's like the IK9 car.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's fog and what's smoke, but slow car on the apron nonetheless. We'll have to get an update on that perhaps from Benjamin. Benjamin let us know about Nate's blown motor, so perhaps an update from him momentarily. But Kyler's still out front with Shane still in second. So I think in terms of engines, Kyler and Shane are probably in the best shape right now. But I'd start to be a bit concerned perhaps for Parker White's engine, as he's been up in that draft all night and he's been pushing somebody for this entire portion of the race. So it wouldn't surprise me soon if maybe Parker tries to go up high or maybe goes down onto the apron and drops to the back for a bit to try to get some fresh air to that car.
Yeah, that's right. Parker White, the 095, he's given a bit of room to that 084 right up front of him. I guess that's actually a bit of damage as well, but for White, all he has to do is just drag the brake just a bit and get a bit of gap between himself and the 084. It's not going to cool down the engine, but it's gonna stall out those rising temperatures. Unless if you lay off the throttle, you could decrease the rising temperatures by just dragging the brake a bit and giving yourself a bit of room. But at most in the draft, it runs around I keep my engine temperatures as cool as around 240, but some people I know the motors could blow around, I think around 280 as Demantova got shoved out of line.
I don't know if he got the wall, but he keeps it straight nonetheless. Disaster averted for sure, and I believe Hunter will now be first on the high side. Somebody actually just jumped up behind and in front of Shane, so a saving grace perhaps for that 52 to not lose too much time. But I believe that may have been Thomas Lloyd who may have been the other engine expiration, but I think he was laps down before Nate's engine blew, so we'll still try to figure out who that was. But Thomas and Nate look to both be already out of contention. But Parker White, man, I've been most impressed, I think, with the 095 so far tonight. There's been a ton of position changes in this top 10, but he's been the one constant throughout this first 25 laps tonight. So we'll have to see if maybe he can seal the deal and get himself a win, just like Kyler out in the lead.
Outside line just being held by Cody Webster. That number 9 machine going to slot himself in front of Cole Williams as they're approaching a lap car, and I think that's Trey Shuttlesworth this time, right up against the barrier rather than on the apron. He couldn't latch on to the tail end of this lead pack when he was on the apron. Now, since he's right up against a safer barrier, everybody's going to scoop themselves down low. But unfortunate for him, he's trapped now 2 laps down, but as well as a bit of luck, but because he's the only person 2 laps down as well.
Yeah, hopefully for him, nobody else gets lapped before we have a yellow tonight, because if that is the case, he can get a lap back, of course, from the lucky dog. But if somebody else gets lapped, I think Trey may end up trapped there for the entirety of this race. But I think we're going to be closing in, not yet, but fuel might be something that should start to crawl into the back of these guys' minds of when they want to start forming themselves to come down pit road. We're already on lap 27. You'll have to remind me on the fuel window. I'm not sure if we ever did race analysis before the event started, but Of course, fuel always something to worry about here at the super speedways.
Yep, that's right. We're coming up on that fuel window. Race analysis is going to be shown on the bottom left. Looks like 20 to 32.
Right at it.
Yeah, so if people want to one-stop it from this point forward, they can and have the option to right about now. But they're stacked up 2 by 2, a lot of rows deep. So if anybody wants to pit, they have to be on that bottom side and get themselves situated. Maybe toward the tail end of the field, you'll see some drivers peel off onto pit road, but I'm just not sure of it. As here comes that outside line yet again, and looks like going to be held by the 2. Mulrooney. Cole Williams also wants to join the fray as well. Shane Mantova. Unfortunately, they're just not going. They're not going anywhere.
I think for these guys, I think they're going to end up. Whoa! And a big moment there between Kyler and I believe Shane. That could have been huge. But as long as this stays green, I think they're going to try to stretch this fuel run as long as they can go. Because then if you can one-stop it from the end, you'll be left with much more fuel if this goes in a green-white checker territory than if you stop it or you stop early. As Hunter clears down to the bottom, and he will lead for the first time in tonight's race. But the way I always would approach plate races is in a case like this, I would try to stretch the fuel run as long as possible to try to get myself in a position where I won't be worried about gas if the green-white checkers happen.
Here comes the number 9 of Webster. Now he's worked himself. Looks like in the 3rd/4th as of right now. He was our last season's winner here at this racetrack, and he's proving why he is right up on the high side. He's getting a big shot there from the 2 Mulrooney, but unfortunately not enough to push forward for that lead.
Yeah,
sort of stalled right now. Look at that right behind these people who are side by side. Look how many cars are single file.
There's like 4 Nova cars in a row. They're all on the bottom. Would not shock me at all to see them come down pit road at the same time, but definitely a Nova train there around mid-pack. I believe Mason is one of those. But yeah, Webster now in the top 5 for the first time tonight after starting, I think, 37th, if I remember right. So up in the second now from 37th. So that number 9 car, definitely one of the strongest in the field, and proving why he's a championship winning driver here in iSCAR, winning the Yost Auto Sales Series last year.
Webster opened up the door for Mulrooney to go through the middle.
And there he goes.
Yeah, there he goes to the back.
Just got up there.
I think he was trying to lead a lap, but I guess Mulrooney said otherwise. And look at all these cars right up against the line.
He's going to go at least to 15th, I think, if not farther back. But, got our first pit stop so far. Some
drivers are going to overshoot it. Watch out, Weil. Ow!
There they go. Christopher Weil, I think one of those around. One car did go completely around at the end of pit road. I think Chris
looks like they did.
I think Chris is that pink car there, but I don't know if he could hit anything.
It was Brandon W. Litus, the 051.
Somebody did really low.
Went around. Brody Garner was on pit road. Corey Long, I think, was the one who hit him. I'm not sure. The 41 of Weil, he also hit as well. So looks like these drivers did not learn their lesson from these past few races that you could easily overshot this pit stop. And here they
comes
go.
Everybody else. A lot of people coming down.
That's everybody. They're gonna. Oh my goodness!
This is gonna be big. Whoa!
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
Make it! Oh, there goes somebody.
Oh, he saved it though.
Man, I don't know how that was.
That's a lot of people on pit road.
They were like 6 wide coming into pit road, and only 1 car spawned. That's miraculous, but. Yeah, those issues on the first round of pit stops looks like somebody overshot their stall. That
Look how many cars are left.
Yeah, that looked like it was an SPM team effort to come down pit road, and obviously that didn't quite go as planned. But, you know, still 50-ish laps to go to get yourself back in gear and try to get yourself towards the front, perhaps.
I'm so surprised how many people hit pit road. Here they go again.
There's the rest of them.
Oh, some person pitted from the second lane. Luckily, there was nobody right behind him. I think that might have been Shane Mantova. And lock up!
There, Mulrooney locked up. There may be a couple penalties from there. Some of those guys really flew in there. Looks like Poindexter, Gardner, couple guys towards the back. Currently lapped down. Few people still yet to pit, so they'll get their laps back shortly. But I think those SPM guys...
somebody just front end pit road. was the car who got hit, and I think that was the 80 of Dane Cruz.
It's Dane Cruz. Yeah, tough break for Dane. That may be the end. Not the end of his night, but perhaps the end of his chances of winning tonight's event. But
some interesting things. Nick Miller has caught some drivers, but he'll have to hit pit road anyway, so it might shorten up the time. And to maybe bolster up front, but Friday locks it down on in. I'm very surprised we didn't have.
Looks like Malachi Drake and Frank DeAngelis. So it looks like, based on the times right now, Dylan Alt is going to cycle out the leader over Kyler Wynn and Shane Diamantova. So a great pit stop for that number 98 will put him into the lead. You see how discombobulated this whole pack is. There's no real formation at all. So if they can get a single file line going on the outside, there could be a huge charge of guys coming towards the front, because they're all sorts of just, there's no organization whatsoever right now in this pack. So I would not be surprised if we go double file fairly quickly here, as two cars already jump up high.
If I were those top two cars, I'd back myself back that 50. Get yourself as organized as you can, because these 7 right here could easily pull away from those straggling cars, like around this area. It looks like Charlie Bauer, the 04, Paul Granada. I think these 4 are going to catch this lead draft, but behind them, William Schmidt, he is left by himself. He has the 04 right behind him. Maybe these 4 can maybe group themselves back up together. As look at these 3. This is what I expected. These are the last 3 people who hit pit road, and they shuffled themselves to the front because they caught some drivers who were lacking. Webster's going to use those people as a pick. They're going to all be all sorted.
What a move.
Oh my goodness, they're all... Can they make it around Trey Shuttlesworth? They're 4 wide.
Oh, man.
There they go.
Oh, there it is. Kyler Wynn, Nick Miller, some of those around. Our first caution of the night. I think somebody just hit the pit road wall. A couple of the Nova cars. I think there might be Granada in there. And we almost made it halfway before the first wreck, which is pretty impressive. But
there was no way they were making around 4 wide.
Yeah.
It was Shuttlesworth who hugged the bottom side, and of course Webster just playing a little football games with Dylan Alt, sort of started to stack them up right behind, and there went the pack. But
you note to self, 4 wide at Daytona doesn't work. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Got to replay what happened.
Yes, some people didn't listen to not doing 4 wide at Daytona, and thus we have our first wreck of the night. Yeah, Kyler Wynn, who led a good chunk of laps tonight. Nick Miller, who had just pit from the lead.
Yeah, it was Wynn in the O.
Not enough real estate.
Yeah, nowhere to go. Harry Grindle also got caught up in it. I'm having a bit of HBO issue.
Couple other cars, we'll have to see. Still hard to tell who's who in this fog, but yeah, I think Grindle was the car that got squeezed up into the wall by Kyler after the initial contact. We'll get a good angle of it here. I think Kyler just may have come down on Nick, not realizing he was there.
Yeah, Miller's just trying to slide up to get it right, to not run into Shuttlesworth. And Wynn was already trying to split it 3 wide through the middle. But of course, there was also a bit of contact there with Alt and such like that, right around that area. And
I think Alt gets a piece of it right here. You see Nick turn down, and indeed he does. So a bit of damage for that 98. Couple guys go spinning
right now.
Oh, he could be.
Oh, that was.
Is that in Delicato?
Yeah, that was in Delicato. William Schmidt also.
William Schmidt into the inside wall. A few others in there, but again, still hard to tell. But looks like we're gonna have some takers on pit road after just a lot of takers after just doing pit service. So this is interesting. But Malachi Drake, who just pit with that little 3-pack of him, DeAngelis, and Miller, and DeAngelis himself staying out as well. So a good break for them. The strategy works out, and just as they were about to get past, the wreck behind them will gift them top 5 restarting spots.
Very surprised. A lot of people are hitting pit road. I'm not sure if they got a bit of optional from contact on pit road or such like that. We're getting more reports of some other wrecks as well. Peter Kenny spun off a pit road and hit Dylan Basin.
Oh no, that's
You know.
man, it's almost like we didn't see the complete opposite of that last night. But I'm sure that wasn't intentional by any means. But either way, just not something you want to see happen. But still a lot of time left to recover from silly mistakes like that. But you can't make too many of them, or else you'll put yourself out of contention. But something that small, this caution gives everybody a chance to reset. We saw the SPM guys have a bit of issues with their pit road stop earlier, so they get a chance to get themselves back up in the main pack and maybe stay in it for the second half of the race. So this caution is a great period for these guys that may have had a miscue at some point in the race to reset and say, all right, here's what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to do it to get yourself up towards the front and win.
I don't think Kyler Wynn nor Harry Grindle is going to be competitive.
Chris,
they have over a minute of damage. If you have over a minute of damage at Daytona, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, you're probably done.
Yeah.
That's probably engine damage.
Yeah.
At least. See Dylan with a 51-second pit stop, so he's around that minute area. Nick and Delicato looks like about 46 seconds. Looks like a bit of damage. Minute pit stop for Nick. He may be worse off than we initially thought, but you saw Chris on pit road. I think Chris may have just lost a lap.
Nope, he's getting himself forward.
Just made it out in time, thankfully for him. So the pace lights are off, so Chris needs to really haul some rear end to get himself into this main pack before we go back green. But
Eli O'Quinn goes one lap down, didn't check the fuel, so he ran out of gas, had to tow it, but he's back on the racetrack.
Ooh, tough break for him. And this is the tough break we saw, or we mentioned earlier with Trey Shuttlesworth. He is still trapped 2 laps down because all those guys that hadn't been unlapped yet, got the wave around, of course, with all those guys coming back down. So Trey's going to need some hard luck at this point to get himself back in contention. But Malachi Drake, Frank DeAngelis, Liam Sheen, Cody Webster, Shane Diamantova look like will be your top 5 here for tonight. And the 151, I think that's Aaron Brown. First time you've seen him up there in this top 10 tonight. So some new faces here towards the front. Kevin White Jr. in the 147 up in the top 10 for the first time tonight. He was really deep in the field earlier. So we'll see how these new faces in the top 10 can do here as we'll hit the halfway point in a few laps. So it'll still be one stop as well before this is over.
All right, man. Like to back on the pace car. We're not going
we
green
will
this
not
time. We
go
are not
green.
going green.
Some cars are all over the place right behind. Looks like there's just too many cars. Yeah, there's
a couple people actually just go down pit road.
Yeah, they're going to top off and take advantage of this delay.
Yeah, William came down and a few others. One of the Nova cars went down. So order stays the same, of course, up in the top 10. Just one more pace lap here. So we'll hit the halfway point 2 circuits from now. So
and they did stretch the fuel, looks like all the way to lap 32. So I was right on the dot on where they're going to pit. So now the question is, when are you going to... That will leave, if you're going to stretch it all the way, you're going to have to pit with 8 laps to go, which is not viable. I'd split the run in half.
It could be viable depending on when everybody else does. If we see a pack of like 30 people all pit at the same time, which would probably end up in a wreck anyway, but if we do see that, then you could realistically pit with 8 to go if everyone else does. But if we see like mini packs, maybe 5 or 6 cars each, then you may have to reconsider your original fuel plans. But a one-stop race for the remainder either way. But again, do you want to make sure... Well, actually, with 20 to 32, you should be good for green, white checkers after you stop, no matter when you stop in your window.
I'd stop halfway so you don't have to...
30.
Yeah.
That'd be about 10 to go. I think, right?
20.
Well, for 30 laps from here...
For 30 laps from here would be around 10 laps to go, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be very late in the going either way. And we just saw what happened when guys that pit at different times caught each other and went 3 and 4 wide. So will we see that again with 8 to go? Let's find out.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out. We're back through the gears at Daytona. Everybody gets themselves rolling fairly nicely, except for that 69 of Frank DeAngelis, sort of jammed up as of right now. But he works himself forward into turn number 1. Of course, won the last Cup Super Speedway race at Talladega. Now has a W right next to his name. Also a person with a W right next to his a W right next to his name. Malachi Drake picked it up at Talladega in the 87 cars. So glad to see him out on the racetrack as well. Yeah, that was one heck of a race.
Yeah, Malachi picked up some money for winning that race as well. Bit of an added bonus for him, but I'm sure you've noticed, but the fog is greatly reduced, if not completely gone. So thankfully, our visibility and your visibility much, much better than it was at the top of the show. So now you can start to make out who is actually in each car and where they are in the field, unlike earlier. But Frank DeAngelis, despite that poor restart, takes the lead on the high side and may be able to clear the one, and actually, no, he doesn't.
Oh, the 151, I think that's Aaron Brown. Now right up against the safer barrier. He has no friends to make way up on that high side. Webster drops himself down to the low side, and he's going to have to jam on the brakes to maybe haul himself right behind, I think, the 98 of Dylan Alt, but Webster is not going to go anywhere. Now he emerges himself up, but he's going to jam everybody right around there, and this in turn might split the pack into 2.
Well, it looks like the pack was already a bit disorganized back behind 15th or so, and that definitely won't help at all. The Webster files himself in there, and indeed Frank DeAngelis has cleared, and he's brought Liam Sheen along with him. So DeAngelis to the lead for the first time here tonight, and Liam Antova back first on the high side, and Latham Joyner now back in the top 5 once again today.
It's Michael DiMaggio in that number 18 machine, I mean not 18, but in the 3 machine, who's gonna be leading this second pack as more drivers drop themselves down to the low side. That'll be Kevin White and Quinton Warman. DiMaggio works himself right up against the highest side and will drag Dylan Alt forward. The inside line will have to check up around the second pack, but for right now, up toward the front, they're getting really, really racy. And how about some new names coming into the picture? That's the 051, the man who spun it on pit road, Brandon Lightus, now inside this top 8. How about that out of nowhere?
Yeah, Lightus started himself in 36th, now up into this top 10, so a great run going for him after his pit road miscue.
Oh, got a wreck!
Oh no, and there they... Don't tell me they just saved that. No way.
Oh, they're
no way they saved that.
Oh! Who is that? I think that was Quinton Warman. Oh!
Marker White, did he save it?
I think he did.
Holy crap. Kyler wins on pit road. I cannot believe that A wasn't a wreck and B wasn't a caution. But
look how fanned out the field is. Oh my goodness.
But by some saving grace, at least nobody wrecked, but that really did separate this entire field. But if this pack back here can get organized, they could potentially mount a big charge to catch right back up to these guys. And if that were to happen, we would definitely be in 3-wide territory once again. But for right now, it looks like about a 7 or 8 car breakaway towards the front, and DeAngelo is still pacing the entire field here tonight.
And it seemed as though, no, it wasn't the 50. Oh, it might have been the 55 of Brody Garner. We'll take a look at that replay yet again, but man, that was really, really sketchy around that area. You see him on the apron, it seems as though it was, but
I think Parker was that white car that initially got sideways. And
oh, looks like off the two, Mulrooney.
Yeah, obviously no intent there, perhaps just a bad bump in the corner. But I can't believe that didn't wad up a good 10 or 15 cars. It did spread the field out as Mantova has taken over the race lead from DeAngelis, but again, I'm shocked that wasn't a huge wreck.
3 wide up on the high side. Looks like Miller, even though he had a minute of damage to get repaired, looks like he's working himself on that third lane. And yeah, there's so many people that are just fanned out right now. It's a pack of 6 around here. They need to go double wide, actually. Or maybe they could latch on to this pack of 5 right here around where I think Hunter Johnson and Peter Kenny are right now, but...
Oh, DeAngelis goes up high, maybe getting some air in the engine, but that'll lose him probably at least 10 spots with him being the only car on the high side. And now Latham Joyner to the lead on the high side with a big push from Brandon Lightus.
Lightus is doing a great job. This is the first time he's run an iSCAR race. Right now running second up against the barrier, and speaking of up against the barrier, Frank DeAngelis was really, really close to it.
Yeah, I think he almost made contact with somebody. Not quite sure who it was, but I guess a big break there for the 69 is now he goes down onto the bottom side. But Joyner still being that the middle lane actually. Nick Miller now trying to make that high line work with, I believe, is that Webster behind him?
That is.
So Webster trying to make his way back up there once again. So the third line coming in again. But
boy, Lightus is washing up.
But Miller and Webster need a few more people to jump up with them. Only 2 of them will not suffice to try to get themselves up to the lead. They need a lot of help now, or they're going to drop back.
Oh, maybe they want a bit of help from the 151 at Aaron Brown, all the way back there right against the 12 of Hunter Johnson. And they're still keeping themselves right up against the barrier. As
they're side drafting now.
Yeah, they're starting to side draft as Nick Miller on that. Oh! Oh, let it go!
No! Huge wreck incoming here. Miller,
what was
Joyner,
Latham doing?
Lightus in there. That's going to be taking a lot of people. Hopefully those guys in the back can get it slowed down enough to not pile themselves in. Aaron Brown briefly goes up on 2 wheels. And that will once again reset the field, but yikes. That's going to be yikes for me, dog.
I'm not sure what they were doing. I'm not sure what...
So, whole good bunch of the top 10. Demantova was having a great run, and he got... I think Joyner may have gotten a bad bump here from Lightus. We'll see.
Did it again. Oh, he might have gotten a bad bump.
Yeah.
Right, from the other camera angle.
Oh, yeah, I think Lightus just gave him a bad shot, and he got all squirrely, and a lot of people got collected in that as these guys in the grass just started sliding back up onto the racing surface. Hopefully a few of them saved it down there. I think a few of them may have, but a few of them, like Demantova, just flew back up the track. I think Poindexter is one of those involved in that as well.
Fire doing a nice job of avoiding.
Nick Miller escapes that with the race lead. Webster will now be in second. Looks like Cole Williams escaped that as well. He's up to third now. But, yeah, right there. Yeah, I think Joyner may not have been able to handle the bump. Webster actually saved it in the grass. Peter Kenny got super lucky for the second night in a row and net-coded through a huge wreck. So luck definitely on Peter's side here in Speed Weeks, as he will end up in 8th, at least for right now. But a lot of people on pit road once again. And now this is going to be interesting because we're on lap 49 right now of this 80-lap event. So if you stretch your fuel run to 32, that means you'd be on the fuel line right around the end of the race if it stays green. So if we have green-white checkers towards the end of this race, these guys may all have to come down again.
I think what these drivers are also going to do is they're going to come down with 1 lap to go to top off on fuel. The only con about that is all those people who topped off are all going to have to start single file, so they better get a good restart and get themselves rolling, or else they're not going to go anywhere. But, of course, everybody pit road to sell some services. My goodness. That was a really, really big wreck.
I think it was inevitable, honestly.
No doubt about it.
I'm a bit surprised it actually took this long for it to occur, as we're over halfway through the race now. But I don't think a lot of people may end up out of the race. I'm sure some people may have engine damage that'll put them out of contention, but I don't know how many actual retirements we have as a result of the wreck. There should still be quite a few people on the lead lap. I'd probably say around 30-ish. But as big as that wreck was, it could have been a lot worse, as somehow out of all that, no one flipped. At least that we saw. Looks like Miller's gonna come down.
Yeah, here comes everybody back on a pit road, so all these drivers right here are unfortunately gonna have to start single file. But I mean, you could easily save some fuel toward the front as well. I'm not sure about the call.
Miller played that perfectly, I think, because all those guys that came down the first time lost their spots, but with Miller staying out when they didn't, he could top off out of the same amount of fuel they did, and Miller, in theory, shouldn't lose any spots. But a few people that came down the first time looks like they're not going to come down the second time, so he will end up losing spots after all.
Yeah, that was Warman.
And
Weil.
Chris is up there
Brindle,
once again.
Out of nowhere.
Drake's up there
Drake's
again.
up there. Granada.
Granada came out of the LCQ. He's up there in the top 10 now. Cole Williams in the 42. He dodged that wreck. Just saw Peter Kenny netcode through another one. Patterson looks like he's up there, but that was name gets shuffled farther back. But Christopher Weil, he had a bit of an issue. Yeah, the lights were off. Weil had a bit of an issue earlier when the SPM guys tried to all pit at the same time, but he is rebounded here nicely up in the top 5 now after winning the ARCA race on Wednesday night and getting second in the 250 last night. That 41, again, had a great start to Speed Week so far. Now trying to get himself perhaps another win here tonight in the DeNise Design Series.
Yeah, we'll have to take one more circuit around before we go back under green flag conditions. Maybe some drivers will do what we saw in the previous caution, take advantage of this caution to maybe top off on fuel so they can make it all the way to the end. See, look at the 79 of William Schmidt. Looks like Garrett Hess is also going to follow in pursuit.
Yeah, this was to be expected that all these guys would top off once again, and with the delayed caution that gives them another lap to come down. So if you stretch your fuel run all the way, you're now going to be a couple laps to the good, and with at least one more lap under caution, if another caution or green-white checkered comes out, that'll be a few more pace laps. So for these guys topping off now, they could be okay if we end up in green-white checkered territory. Which, quite honestly, after the weekend we've seen, I would almost expect at this point.
Now look at all these cars starting single file. This is going to be worrisome just for the bit. As long as they give each other room and get rolling before that green flag drops and they're on the throttle already, they'll be able to rework themselves forward. But if we have another caution, the caution after that, if we have another caution, the restart after that is going to be wild because everybody's going to be stacked up and they're going to be good all the way to the end.
So Quentin Warman, Malachi Drake, Christopher Weil, Paul Granada, Aaron Mulrooney looks like will be your top 5 here for the restart. Patterson, Grindle, White, Webster, Williams round out your top 10. And where is the outside?
I told you, everybody on the... oh my goodness, Malachi Drake just blinked a bit.
green.
But all those people who came in with... oh, look at that checkup. Corey Long's probably going to get a black flag. No, he didn't.
What in the heck was that?
But all those people who topped off, they can't line up double wide. And look at all those people right here. This is what worried me. They are not going to get organized.
A couple people just actually came off the middle road. They waited way too long to top off, and they're going to lose the draft. But that was about as weird of a restart as I've seen in a while. But looks like they've gotten formed up pretty quick here, as the outside definitely starting to get beefed up here with about 6 cars or so. But looks like they're going to have one clear down for the lead, and that is the 90 of Malachi Drake.
Malachi doing a nice job by getting a huge shot from Quentin Warman. It's really, really hard to push in these cars. Not only the suck up and the runs are very, very small compared to other vehicles, the bumpers on these cars are curved as well. So for some of these drivers, fortunately for them, they're not. You can't really stack it up like you can in the truck.
I think that was probably, and of course these are like that in real life as well, of course, since these are just scanned from real cars. But I think that was an attempt by NASCAR to discourage tandem drafting. That, of course, was the what everybody remembers from the early 2010s portion of racing. But back around 2013, 2014, guys be getting penalties for trade or tandem drafting, and nationwide and Xfinity Series races. So these newer cars they came out with around 2017, curved bumpers, so they can't do that anymore. And of course, that translates here into iRacing. So definitely some adaptations these guys have to make that you can otherwise do in perhaps a truck or a cup car.
Second up 2 by 2, right up on the high side is going to be the 2 Mulrooney, who of course made contact with the 55. Brody Gardner earlier has now worked himself forward. A couple Nova cars right in the background now also in there as well, but on the back straightaway, oh, Mulrooney had a really nice run, and he has the 95 of Miller as a pusher as well, and we've seen how Miller could work that third line. He now works himself fourth. Quentin Warman doesn't have a pusher, that 41 Christopher Weil. Weil's not as tucked up as I thought he would.
Chris, I don't know if that was just a separation or if he may have gotten some damage from his pit road incident earlier, but still in the top 5 once again, regardless, after leading the first 10 or so laps of tonight's race. So hopefully for that 41, he can stay up there and try to rebound from what happened to him earlier and get himself maybe his 3rd top 5 of the week.
And on the back straightaway, and that outside line's going to just stack up. Mulrooney wanted to hug the middle side, trying to fend off the 95, 3 wide. And that boots Miller out of line, and that was a bad move by Miller to try to take it 3 wide, and he's going to pay the price.
Can he slide down right here? It's going to be a tight window right here between Mulrooney and I think perhaps Parker White. Looks like Miller can't, and so he's going to lose a lot. Oh no, he did get in. So fortunately for him, only ends up losing 3 or 4 spots, but that gap opened up just enough for him to slide right in. So he'll be 4th on the outside instead of 2nd, but definitely could have been a lot worse for that 95, as you only have 25 laps to go. So now is not the time to end up dropping down to the back. But it looks like that's what Quentin Warman's going to actually do here.
I'm not sure about that, why you're going to drop yourself back, especially in this portion of the race.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to merge himself back into the racetrack. That's going to be a problem. Oh my gosh. I don't know what Warman was thinking there, but
that was close.
And that was around where Charlie Byer in the 7 was.
63 got held up by, or whatever number that IK9 car was. I think that was 63.
Aaron Brown. Might have.
Well, 63 is Lloyd, and he's out of the race, but Malachi Drake still leads on the bottom. Christopher Weil now 2nd on the bottom. So back into the top 3 once again after leading earlier. Mulrooney now leads the outside with Parker White to his outside. Parker was in the top 5 for a good amount of the earlier portion of the race. He's now back up there after that near wreck around midway through the amount of laps you've run so far. But Mulrooney may be able to lead here out of 4. He's got a good push from Parker White, but right behind him, that outside's disconnected.
They're starting to roll forward. Maybe Webster could hop up to the high side and drag a proximity line right up against the barrier, because he has Michael DiMaggio in that number 3 as well. And here they go. Oh, looks like Miller is going to work himself up to the high side, so he'll pick up Webster, and they work themselves toward the front, but they're 3 wide. Oh, this is not going to be good.
Uh-oh. They got to get down. That's
oh my gosh!
Whoa! I don't know how they did that. That was about as tight as you could possibly get right there, as I believe they were briefly 4 wide with the lapped car, but fortunately he stayed up just as close to the wall as he possibly could and stayed out of harm's way. But that definitely did slow down the momentum that third line had, but Miller and Webster still trying to make it work. One car in the wall there.
That's DiMaggio.
4. Stay up there, stay up there. Looks
he's
like he's
really
fine.
starting to bounce more violently as...
I think he's good. Looks like he's out of the way.
Yeah, he's out of the way now.
There he is, I think, back there. Another disaster averted now. Mulrooney now leading the middle line. Now the third line's starting to gain a bit more steam here after that lapped car excursion they had. So we'll have to see if Miller and Webster can really start to gain some momentum. But just as I said that, there's another lapped car off in the distance we'll have to worry about soon.
Oh boy. Yeah, they're starting to stack up really hard. Weil is clear. Oh, he got turned! Grendel goes around, or sort of goes around. Cole Williams is sideways. All gets put in the wall by Kenny, but they all keep it straight.
How? What a save by Chris. Got turned from 3rd but he may end up staying in this lead pack if he can get a good push from someone else. But man, there have been quite a few times where 10, 15 cars could have been taken out, and somehow they weren't. And out of all of that, Nick Miller from the third line comes down and clears to take the lead. So that move to the third line did end up working for him after all, even though he got some help from an almost wreck.
I cannot believe they kept it straight, but look how
I can't either.
Scrambled this.
Couple lap cars on the apron right here.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully
right.
Stay down there.
Miller, he opened up the door for
D'Angelo's
Malachi Drake. Not sure what Miller was doing. He could have just tucked himself down to the bottom side and
Parker
would've
White's a
led a lap.
second. And out of absolutely nowhere, we have not mentioned his name a single time all night tonight, that 25 of Seth Rawls in the top 5 after starting, what is that, 20-something?
24th.
Up into 5th now. So that 25 coming alive here in the later portions of the race. So what will he have for these guys up there, and can he potentially compete for this win as this race goes on?
Oh boy. Look at this second pack. They're really disorganized. I'm sure they're going to catch this lead draft, but not at an alarming rate. Look at Wow. Look at the run he has. Dragging along, looks like the 12 of Hunter Johnson.
Trey Shuttlesworth is up there as well in 30th. Trey is actually the first car a lap down. So if a yellow were to come out, Trey would be in the free pass position. Where Trey is right now is key for him, because if there's any guys in the lead lap that lose the draft and get passed, Trey is in the draft and will easily blow by them along with the leaders. So for that 119, it's key for him to stay
Brody
where
Gardner.
he is if he wants to get himself on the lead lap again.
Look at that. 3 wide yet again. It's Brody Gardner in the 55. The man who nearly spun it earlier is gunning for
Here
the
he
lead.
comes.
Oh, look at Mulrooney trying to pinch down the 90 and Malachi Drake. It stalls them both, and it opened up the door for the 55, and this whole proximity line right behind him is probably going to bolster forward, but I don't know if Gardner could clear.
Yeah, he can. I think
he's
I
going to
think he
get
can.
He's going to
Oh,
get
yeah, he
clear, but
can.
is he going to drag the 9 and 12 with him? I'm not sure, as Webster actually tagged the outside wall. Maybe he can.
Wow. What a move there from
Blown
Brody.
motor right behind. One car just flung to the apron. I'm not sure who that was.
I'm not sure either, but what a nice move there by Brody to take the lead with just 18 laps to go. So closing time here at Daytona. If you're in that second pack needs to catch this lead pack as quick as possible if any of them want a chance at winning tonight. And what a run Mulrooney got into 3 with help from Miller. Can he clear out of turn 4?
Oh! Granada just tagged the apron.
Holds it on. A lot of great saves tonight.
Yeah, maybe too many.
And Mulrooney will lead here at the line. And I think he may be able to clear into 1. It'll be close. And there he goes. Another lead change here at Daytona. 17 laps to go. Nick Miller now leads the high side once again with help from Seth Rawls there in the 25. Can Seth push Nick so he can clear and just repeat this whole cycle of getting first on the outside and just clearing onto the bottom? But the outside definitely has a lot less cars now as one gets shuffled out there. So I don't know if Nick will have enough of a run to clear at this point. But for right now, Mulrooney, the man of the hour out front, would come into just 16 to go.
That's Nick Delicato in that number 10 right up against the barrier. Unfortunately, he's not going to go anywhere. He's trying to probably tag his teammate, that number 25 of Seth Rawls, into the mix. Of course, Rawls was leading at the white flag during the truck race. Unfortunately, did not come out as the winner. But here he is, yet again, up in contention.
Yeah, but his teammate in Delicato did, but I'm sure Seth would have liked to win as well. But that 25 is in a good position to try and go for the win here in the top 5 with under 20 to go. Of course, that's not a guarantee you'll finish in the top 5, but at least the fact that he's up there is a good start for that 25. He might get shuffled. No, he didn't. Maybe just peeking for some air into 3.
Oh, looks like Rawls just bumped Miller out of line, and Webster goes to the high side. Brody's blowing an engine.
Oh, no, and Brody Gardner blows an engine from the top 5, and that's going to be the end of the night for him. That's a tough
Yeah, damage
break
as
for
well.
sure.
And look at that. The second pack has actually caught up faster than I thought they were. Wow, Wells got turned, then he saves it.
Oh my.
Oh, they're stacking up.
This is like a cat's 9 lives here. Every time somebody saves it like that, you lose another life, and eventually you're going to have no lives left, and the whole field's going to wreck. And I think it's a matter of time before that ends up happening. There have been way too many close calls for there not to be a wreck on top of it at some point.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a wreck somewhere around this 15-lap window. And now, as I mentioned it, the Evo teammates got hooked together. Can they control the front pack like what we saw in the truck race? They're having to go against the number 2 of Mulrooney as of right now, and they're going to pull to the head. And
Can
they're
they
going to hug
both
the
clear, though? Yeah, they can. That could be a race-winning move, perhaps, for those Evo guys. But Trey Shuttlesworth, a reminder, Trey is not on the lead lap. He is 1 lap down, trying to stay with this lead pack in order to get his lap back. So the way that guys like Miller and the other people on the outside race, this is going to be really interesting how they approach it, because I don't think Trey is going to want to lead this entire pack while down a lap. So I don't know what's going to end up happening here. But for right now, we got a lapped car on the outside leading it, and the 2 Evo cars running 1-2.
Yes, Shuttlesworth is playing a role of a moving chicane, but looks like taking advantage of that lap car is gonna be, looks like Indelicato. So maybe Indelicato's trying to cut off Nick Miller from working himself on the highest side. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, again, like I mentioned earlier, the key for Trey is staying up in that pack, because if we do have another yellow, Trey is the first car a lap down and would be the recipient of the lucky dog. But I'm sure the last thing Trey wants to do is trigger a huge incident, as Seth Rawls just briefly disappeared, but fortunately reappears without any incident. But I think for Trey, I think he needs to try to drop to the back, but stay within the draft, so he can still get by any lapped cars that approach on the apron.
Yeah, for Shuttlesworth, that 119 is getting a lot of 0x's. If a caution comes out, he actually won't get the lucky dog because he's giving out incidents to the man right in front of him. So Shuttlesworth has a better shot.
He's got to get
getting
out
on the
line,
lead lap.
I'm sure the guys behind him might want him to get out of line as well. We'll see how this all plays out. But for right now, still second on the high side. And for right now, the Evo guy is still in control. However, Mulrooney is going to have a run here down the backstretch, and Delicato did not come down in front of or behind his teammate. So this is where the Evo guys may end up being broken up, as we'll see what Mulrooney does here with Rawls in 3 out of 4.
Delicato doesn't really have to worry about the 119. They're basically controlling this top 2 right now, as in Delicato really close right there.
Too close for comfort, I think. So now Trey's leading the outside once again, coming to just 11 laps to go. So for right now, Trey is actually unlapping himself just at the moment. But again, I don't imagine him staying there for too much longer. And I'm sure Nick Miller probably wants him to get right out of his way at this point, so he can try to go for the lead. But for right now, the Evo guys still 1-2 on the bottom. Mulrooney and Sheen, the next 2 down there. But Shuttlesworth's teammate, Christopher Wow, right behind, second or third on the high side. So this is going to be really interesting what ends up happening here.
Shuttlesworth will drop himself down to the bottom side. Oh, Rawls hit the apron!
So his Shuttlesworth is now unlapped himself. He's on the last car in the lead lap.
And he's boxed in. He boxed into 10, so...
Uh-oh. Well, this is certainly interesting. 10 laps to go. And now Nick Miller is actually in the race lead, even though he's not clear of Trey, because Trey is not... Well, he's on the lead lap, but he's not going for the lead. So they're side by side for the lead right behind Trey, and this is going to really make things interesting here.
Now, it looks like the 10 pushed out the 119 enough to get himself clear. To the high side he goes.
So Indelicato jumps up, but Rawls right behind him could not. Rawls still second on the low side, so Indelicato may be able to clear into turn 3, but no, he can't. I mean, Trey I don't think has any damage. The reason why he's back there is because he pit road started and he lost the draft. So he still has a really fast car. So he's not necessarily holding anybody up. But in terms of racing for positions, I'm sure the guys don't want him there for right now.
Oh man, Latham Joyner is trying to make that outside line work. Nobody's going with him though, unfortunately, as Shuttlesworth being a blockade for that number 25. Miller's trying to shove it 3. Looks like he's not gonna go anywhere of it. Look at all these lap cars as well.
Got
Right
the
ahead.
modified division here on the backstretch. Looks like 3 or 4 of them. And Delicado trying to block Nick Miller. Hopefully that doesn't become a wreck soon from too much blocking. But Trey unlaps himself once again into turn 3 with Rawls still leading. So now the Evo guys are side by side for the lead, coming to just 8 laps to go here at Daytona. Somebody just went 3 wide, but no one went with them.
Oh, it looks like to be Webster. Has 8 laps to go this time by. Somebody has to be ambitious of that
Something's
third
gotta
lane.
give here. Yeah, something has to give before this race ends. I don't imagine it ending the way it is right now. Either a big wreck's going to happen or a big race-winning move somewhere is going to happen. But the Evo guys still side by side. So Seth Rawls actually just took the lead once again with Trey still there, as fortunately that lapped car will get out of the way on the apron. So the high side, I think, may have lost a bit of steam there into 3. Mulrooney's going to overtake second from Indelicado. Bit of shuffling going on there with Bayer and Lightus around that area. 7 to go this time by.
Now it's Evo 1-2 up on that high side. The 2 Mulrooney.
That might be the race-winning move right there. I was
It
just
might
talking
be.
about with Trey there.
Oh, looks like Corey Long is trying to make that third line work. Nobody goes with him, though. I think somebody inside this top 5 has to shoot out to the third lane to make that third lane even an option.
I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet. I mean, we're coming to 6 laps to go.
Caution! Are you kidding
Oh
me?
my goodness. So that's going to put Eli O'Quinn back on the lead lap. That's the 14 of Michael Kenner that has gone around into turn 3.
This is going to be a
So-
shootout then.
So I don't know if Trey was actually was on the lead lap or not, but Trey will stay on the lead lap regardless now. So we got to look and see what happened here. The Nova guys are racing together, so there probably a bad bump from somewhere.
Oh,
Right
yeah!
there.
Teammates turning
He got
each other.
turned.
Oh, boy.
That'll
That's
be a
not going
fun
to go well
meeting at
with
the-
Nova.
Yeah, that'll be a fun meeting at the Nova shop, I'm sure, tomorrow. But yeah, Kenner definitely got turned by one of his teammates. We're not sure who.
Eli O'Quinn, I think, 29? 09? I'm not sure. I'll have to replay.
Well, the lucky dog will be Trey Shuttlesworth, because if that was Eli O'Quinn, then he's ineligible for the lucky dog. And it looks like it was Eli.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they weren't even square.
And that means
tough
that'll
break.
move Trey Shuttlesworth, that lap car, out of that.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody, because now the leaders don't have to worry about Trey being a lap car sitting there, but for Trey, he's now on the lead lap, even though he's 29th on the lead lap. So Trey is going to have to rely on another wreck to happen if he wants a shot to win. But at least he finally, after 74 laps, is back on the lead lap once again. But now I'm curious, will anybody pit here
No.
just to be sure? I mean,
No,
I
no,
doubt
no, no. Yeah.
I highly, highly doubt it, but you never know. It's iSCAR. Stuff happens.
I mean, to come down to take optional
Oh!
repair?
Well, a couple people are.
Yeah.
Looks like the Nova guys are coming in.
Oh my gosh. Paul Granada and...
That's not wreck coming
Yeah.
onto pit road like
yeah.
that.
Holy cow, please. But,
So, will
No.
this be green light check, or does this mean 3 to go?
3 to go most likely, but,
I think we're going to need the green white checkers, though, at this point.
I'm not sure.
It'll... well, let's hedge our bets. You think we're going to need them or no?
I mean, 3 to
'Cause
go
I
is a
certainly think
pretty
we do.
fair restart to get yourselves all the way to the end. And especially with these Xfinity cars, you could easily keep them straight. I mean, they saved it like 5-10 times under that last green flag run, so... I'm not sure. But I expect this thing to go green from this point forward, once we get the when to go signal at 4 to go.
We shall see.
So it's Evo SimSport 1 and 2. Mulrooney is by himself with no team. Nick Miller, I'm not sure what team he's on. Of course, SPG, not anymore. Weeb Squad in the O2.
Wiles up there with SPM.
SPM.
Rapids up there, Latham Joyner.
Latham Joyner, that's Rapid. As well as Parker White. They were both Rapid. Vitus is an independent. Charlie
Lightus-
Byer.
SPM's for Byer. Lightus is working with the SPM guys tonight, not an official teammate, but Lightus does spot for Christopher Weil in Road to Pro. So some teammate work there. So basically an alliance with Lightus and the SPM guys here tonight. So a good array of teams up here in this top 10 as we get set. Will we get the one to go signal? Let's see. Looks like we did. So the Evo guys will start 1-2 beside each other. Mulrooney, the independent, 3rd. Miller, 4th. And Sheen in 5th.
A lot of cars dropping to apron. I think they're just trying to save some fuel because we are close around that fuel mark. We're going to make it all the way to the end no matter what.
So this is it right here. I mean, obviously, if we do have a wreck before the white, then we'll have green-white checkers. But, of course, this is the very real chance this could be the last restart of the night. So, have we already seen the race-winning move, or has it not been made yet? We shall find out in the next 3 laps. But I honestly think one of those 2 Evo guys may come out of here the winner. And if that's the case, they'll at least get half the wins this week.
Yeah, is it going to be Indelicato who wants to pick up 2 wins after this week, or the number 25 of Seth Rawls?
With all the insanity we've had, all the wrecks we've had, all the LCQ stuff we've had going on, you know, winning 1 race this week is something in itself. But if you can walk out of here with 2 Daytona wins within the matter of 5 days of each other, that's something to be really proud of. And for Nick Indelicato, he has a very real chance of doing so with just 3 laps to go.
How will this all shake down? I just hope for everybody just to make it all the way to the end and finish this out strong here at Daytona.
Might be wishful thinking.
Nope.
Green,
iSCAR
green,
scoots itself left. Green flag is out. 3
Indelicato
laps to go, and Indelicato does not get a great restart because I think Rawls went a bit early, and look how many cars are single file.
I don't think Weil went either. Lightus is now first on the high side. There is no high side, but just as I say that, Indelicato goes up there by himself. Looks like nobody goes with him for now, but I would imagine that will change out of turn 2. Miller's thinking about it, but does he go up there? Yes, he does. So Indelicato and Miller will try to make a charge here up to the front, coming to just 2 laps to go here at Daytona.
Rawls jumped the start, and look how big of a gap between that first and second pack.
Wow.
As you have to all scroll away all the way back here to Parker White, Charlie Byer. But they have 2 laps to make something happen. 5 miles left.
I think Weil just let off to let his teammate in there, but he may have let off a bit too much and create another gap. But Rawls leads with 2 to go, and Indelicato trying to pull even with his teammate, but I think the outside needs another car to really make a big move up to the high side. But can this second pack try to catch and potentially make it 3 wide at the white? But with the separation they have right now, I just don't know if that's going to happen.
It's definitely not going to happen. They're just racing so hard for that position that the
they're
more they
almost
race themselves back there, they might be the cause of the wreck anyway.
We might actually make it to the white here. They don't have too much longer to get to it. But Liam Sheen is now second on the bottom, so he's made a couple of big moves.
And the caution's out!
Oh, 1 car around in the back. So we're going to be in green-white checker territory. 2 cars, actually. Eli O'Quinn, Michael DiMaggio, the catalysts of this wreck. And we will indeed be in green-white checkered territory. And it looks like Mulrooney was actually the leader at the... Or no, Rawls is. Ticker's still updating. But we'll see what brought out this late race incident.
Shuttlesworth, bad bump.
Oh.
And that was a close call.
So that's DiMaggio. So where Eli... Oh, no. They'll be all right, though. But that'll be probably an EOL for Shuttlesworth, unfortunately. So we'll only end up losing like 3 spots with the amount of cars in the lead lap. I believe Basin will get the free pass. So now with the green-white checkers coming in, this is where the fuel situation may get a bit sketchy.
Yeah, and this was right at the 2 to go mark as well, so...
Yeah, when they topped off, I think they were probably good till either the white flag lap or maybe 1 or 2 laps after. But you see, everybody's either going to pit now or they're just going to go on the apron to try and save as much as they can. But if we end up going to all 3 green-white checkers, guys are definitely going to have to either pit or end up running out.
Oh my gosh, there's so many cars on the apron. Hopefully nobody runs over each other, but...
I'm curious how many of these guys are going to try and save or how many are going to try and come down and top off. Got some faking out here. Looks
I
like
don't think you have to win this race. You have to be out on the racetrack and in track position to get yourselves a win. But oh boy,
I'm not surprised it came to this, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible because a couple guys did end up pitting 1 or 2 laps apart from each other. It honestly would not surprise me that on this green-white checkered, somebody up there may end up running out of gas and either causing an incident or just at least losing spots. But it's going to be close for a lot of people. As we scroll through the top 10 here, Malachi Drake's had a good amount of laps tonight. Nick Miller, they're in 6th right now. Garrett Hess started, I believe, 38th. I think he was either the one. He advanced from the LCQ up there in the top 10. Good run for him so far. Charlie's into the top 10 for the first time tonight. Chris is back up there. So some SPM guys in the back half of this top 10 here.
some of these people don't know how to save fuel. I'm hearing the sounds of all these motors. Some of these, like if you go on board with Nick Miller, it's quiet. No sound is audible from that number 95, but Malachi Drake, oh, he's clutching rather than turning off the engine. So that's still using up a bit of RPM. We'll go into a cockpit. Oh, looks like, of course, my field of view is sort of askew, but actually I have a driver panel for that. You see the RPMs there on the bottom side. It looks like it's roaming around 3,000, 4,000.
1 to go here.
And if you hold the clutch, you're still around 2,000, so we're still using fuel.
Less than usual, though, of course.
Yeah.
I just noticed some damage on Indelicato's rear bumper. He probably got a bad bump at some point in the race, but obviously has virtually no impact on his driving for right now.
There it is.
So this could be the last restart, may not be. We'll have to see.
If Rawls jumps the restart and the back half of the field can't get themselves going, that third line's not going to be an option.
It may not be anyway. I just don't know if in 2 laps the third line can get enough steam to even may have an impact. I think for the third line to really have an impact and try to get themselves up there, they would have probably had to do it around 10 laps to go to get enough people up there. But I don't think it can do it in just 2 laps.
Yeah. Here we go.
I don't know, we've seen crazier things. It could happen.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, if a guy from the third line wins with just 2 laps to go, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've ever seen.
Evo? I mean, not Evo. Yeah, it's Evo with the 25, Independent with the 2, Weep Squad in the number 02, another Evo car. So the Evo cars are separated. I'm surprised Rawls didn't pick the high side and maybe pull his teammate with him. Either way, pace car is on left, green flag is out, and the back half of the field did not get going around this position. Unfortunately, they're probably not going to have a shot at this end, and look at that. Look how many cars followed themselves down to the inside. Somebody has to pull out a line. They just need to get up to speed, though, down the back straightaway.
Parker White, the odd man out on that high side. He's going to lose, it looks like, maybe 4 or 5 spots. Back to around 8th or 9th he goes. Looks like, I don't know who that is. It just
Garrett Hess.
That's Garrett Hess.
Mulroney is going up high. Oh, Seth Rose pulled the block.
Sheen tried to make a move.
Here comes Mulroney.
Now he makes a run up there. I believe with Indelicato. Almost got turned right there into 3. Side by side here, coming to the white flag. Who's going to walk out of here with their first win of the season? Or if you're Indelicato, perhaps your second win of the season.
White flag this time by as they cross the start-finish line. 2.5 miles left, and the pack is stacked up 2 by 2. Byer's going to fill the hole of where Parker White was supposed to go. Hess is trying to take it 3 wide.
I would be shocked if this can work, but with it being the white flag, you got to try anything you can to make this work. Charlie Byer goes up there with him as well, and I think one other car did.
Red Lions, they're wrecking!
Oh, there they go. Garrett Hess around. Oh, that's a lot of people. Oh, my goodness. Wild goes around. Byer goes around. There's a ton of people. Huge hit there. Someone just backed up the track. That's going to take a few more people out.
And it's these 4. And it's these 4 by themselves. It's Rawls clear. Can Sheen mount up a run to the high side? Here it goes. And it all matters about the front straightaway. He peeks himself up high. He's there!
Oh, William Sheen!
Oh, they make contact! Mulrooney!
Mulrooney wins!
And Mulrooney wins it!
Nick Miller in second, and Seth Rawls blocked too late and cost himself a win. And Aaron Mulrooney starts off his DeNise Design Series season with a checkered flag. Congratulations to that 2 team on the win here tonight. What a finish that was.
Wow! And that opened up all for Aaron Mulrooney, who has had a really bad speed weeks.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Wow. Man, everybody wrecked back there. Weil had got himself back up there. He got turned, and a lot of people got turned. And Liam Sheen made a great move to the outside to try to go for the win, but unfortunately got blocked too late by Seth Rawls. And Aaron Mulrooney, the beneficiary of it all, and wins here tonight at the World Center of Racing.
That is heartbreaking for
Sheen.
For Sheen, that's twice in a row that he's been denied a win at Daytona.
He timed that perfectly.
He did, and he had people working with him as well.
Somebody went with him, but unfortunately, the 25 waited too long to block, and that's what happens when you're at Daytona. So, unofficial results here from Daytona International Speedway. Aaron Mulrooney, your winner here tonight. Nick Miller in second. Paul Granata from the LCQ to third. Bridger Olson in fourth. Hunter Johnson in fifth.
Started at like 20th place. How in the world did he get in fifth?
Granata started like 40th. He advanced from the LCQ and got third. That's really impressive. Liam Sheen and Seth Rawls still finished in 6th and 7th, but I'm sure Liam would have rather won. Cody Webster in 8th. William Schmidt out of nowhere to get a top 10. And Cole Williams with a nice top 10 for him as well. Only rookie in the top 10. A lot of interesting names up there.
ATVO froze at the right time. We'll be right back right after this. We'll display the rest of the order as I get myself set up and for interviews as well. Congratulations to Aaron Mulrooney Jr. We'll be right back right after this. There with they're starting to wreck! Around goes Grendel right in front of the pack!
Oh boy. Yeah, that one was totally avoidable. And yeah, just misjudges.
Number 40, but looks like it won't happen. He's trying to split the middle. They're wrecking! Oh, there we go! They're all wrecking!
Everybody! Great job. Contact looks like neck code is gonna cause a big pile.
Big crash! Oh my god! Oh!
We welcome everybody back here live at Daytona International Speedway. My goodness, what another crazy hectic end to the Daytona Speed Weeks, with Aaron Mulrooney in the number 2 coming out on top. The man who's known as a short track king just took the 2.5 mile W. What a win.
Definitely, man. I mean, I think Liam Sheen had that race won, and a late block by Seth Rawls proved otherwise. There's your top 10 once again. You mentioned Paul Granada, one of the 5 people to advance on from the LCQ and gets a podium. I mean, that you can't get much better of a run than that for if you're that 04. But Bridger Olston with a great run. I'm not sure where he started, but we hadn't mentioned his name all night and got himself a top 5. And Cole Williams, we didn't really mention him much at all. So a lot of cool, interesting people we didn't really mention whatsoever getting themselves solid top 10s to start off their season. But hopefully the ATVO is fixed and we can get you the rest of the running order. And indeed it is.
Josh Patterson, Brandon Lightus, Dane Cruz, Malachi Drake, Garrett Hess, Michael DiMaggio, Corey Long, Charlie Byer, Trey Shuttlesworth, and Quinton Mormon round out top 20.
And 21st through 30th, Latham Joyner, Hunter Ellis, Nick Indelicato, who was up there at the end, got caught up in that wreck. Harry Grindle, Ryan Morgan, Christopher Weil was up in the top 5 twice tonight, but a disappointing 26th to wrap up his speed weeks. Parker White, Michael Kenner, Peter Kenny, last night's 250 winner, and Dylan Basin round out your top 30.
Eli O'Quinn, Colton Zimmer, Frank DeAngelis, Brady Wildman, Thomas Lloyd, and Brody Gardner, Dylan Alt, Kevin White Jr., Carson Poindexter, and Aaron Brown round at 4th place.
And rounding out your field tonight, Shane Diamantova, who had led a good portion of the race earlier, Kyler Wynn, who did the same, and Nate Stewart, the first engine expiration of the night, rounds out your field.
Display results here on the top of your screen as we interview our race winner, that number 2, who finally conquers the Daytona International Speedway. Mulrooney, you're known as a short track king, but man, did you put that Toyota to the test here in this 2.5 miler, and you come out victorious, man. Congratulations. First thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Zeke. Yeah, our number 2 Toyota Camry was pretty solid all night. I think we had some issues on the pit road because there was some checkups pre-race, so I had to get that damage fixed. And honestly, I think the whole race I was just trying to run up front and be aggressive and trying to avoid all the wrecks. We had that initial pit cycle, I believe, that kind of threw me back by a couple of spots on pit road, but actually kind of helped me because right in front of me there was the first big one. And yeah, I'm just happy to accomplish this win so early in the season and hoping for more.
That's right, man. You nearly made yourself in the Final 4, and coming off of a lot of momentum from this win, what can you apply from what you learned off here tonight? Of course, the 1.5 miler at Kansas, of course, not a full throttle track. Who did you pick up from tonight that you maybe could work with in the future?
I was thinking we probably could work with guys like Nick Miller and Liam Sheen. I mean, it sucks for Liam because I think we could have pushed him to the victory, but he ended up getting crashed out. So yeah, guys like Nick and Liam are good to work with because they give you the ability, to draft and do things like that. And they also have the logic and sense about them to where if you're faster than them, they'll let you go. So it's mutual respect, and I like working with guys like that.
And for Aaron Mulrooney, rounds himself up top here in victory lane at Daytona after 84 laps of racing. Before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
Nope, but I'd like to thank you and Dewey for broadcasting, Zeke. I appreciate it.
All right, about 10 for Aaron Mulrooney, rounds out Daytona with a big old W. Can't wait to talk to you post-race.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Nick Miller's in the second? What? How? We'll drag him into the booth.
Up there.
Yeah, he was up there. I forgot. He just blew past my mind, I guess. Worked himself up into second place. And Dewey, go ahead and interview him.
All right, Nick, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, we'll start off. You had some pretty interesting moments here. We'll start ourselves off with the wreck around midway through the race. What'd you see out of your windshield when you got turned around and crossed the finish line?
I tried staying away from the wall there. It was a shame. At first, I thought it was just a lack of space because we had a lap car coming, and he could have went to the apron, but I guess he didn't. So I figured we were going to go 4 wide, and then I thought we ran out of space when I watched the replay. It was just net code between Liam and the guy on my outside, and then I got my quarter panel I just touched a little bit there, and it sent us sideways.
Well, you ended up recovering nicely to get yourself a runner-up finish tonight, and I mean, you have, of course, run all of the races so far this week, and this is your best finish of all of them. How much of a momentum boost is this for you as you continue onward with the rest of your iSCAR season?
It's very, considering most of the time I'm usually not here for the Daytona races, but to be able to complete in all of them this week, it's been a blast. Definitely, I can tell from the past couple of seasons that this year is going to be the most competitive.
Well, I'm sure finishing second definitely makes you in a much happier mood than if you didn't finish in second. But either way, at least you could run Daytona and get a good finish out of it here. But hey, before I let you go, any sponsors you want or people you want to thank here for tonight?
I guess Marooney, he was helping me with the strategy calls as well as doing all this until he got wrecked out. We were all working together. Cody Webster, great pusher. He saved me from that one big one on the backstretch. That was yeah, I definitely got to thank him for that one. And anyone on stream, if you want to send me a pair of underwear for when we went 4 wide on the lap car, I thought I was going into the wall.
Yeah, all right. You heard the man. Send him any underwear if you have it. Nick Miller, your runner-up here tonight at Daytona. Hope to see you back here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, see you guys.
We'll go ahead and scoot ourselves back into third place. The man who worked himself from the last chance qualifier, started himself all the way back in 41st. Paul, my goodness, it had to be a story behind that 04.
Yeah, I still don't even know how I got a top 3. I was 18th on the final lap, and Brayson sent me a PM radar as we were going green to send it, and yeah, I didn't have a brake pedal, so I just sent it.
Yep, that's right, Paul. And you worked yourself from, I guess, like around 20th place from that restart into third. Of course, that white flag as everybody started piling up right in front of you. Foot through the floorboard. Just walk me through that white flag.
Well, I was getting screened at by all my Nova teammates. So I was like, you know what? We're just gonna send it. Hope we make it through. We got into 1 and 2, and I was like, well, we're gonna finish around 18th because I didn't think they were gonna wreck. And all of a sudden I saw smoke, and I was like, no, let's just go to the middle and see what happens. It was cars spinning all around me, and then when I got out of the wreck, I was like, oh, let's see what we can do with the draft. And then they wrecked on the front stretch, and I was just went right to the middle of that too, and someone got out of the door. So I still don't even know how I made it through all that.
That's right, man. Working yourself from the last chance qualifier. Of course, a different story there as well. Paul, congratulations on your third place finish here for tonight. Before we let you go, any sponsors I want to thank here? Let out.
I just want to thank my Nova Sim Racing teammates out there. We had a great pack early in the race going, and honestly, it was looking pretty good until we caution came out on that field. But yeah, thanks my Nova. Thanks Josh for working with me, Hunter for working with me, Micah for working with me, Eli. They were there the whole race. I needed them too. I just didn't have them at the end. But glad to bring it home in top 3.
All right, about 10 for Paul Granada, and the 04 rounds himself out in third place. Can't wait to talk to you coming to your next race.
Thank you.
Bridger Olson's also in the top 5? My goodness, we have some random names upside here as well, but unfortunately for him, he's not in the waiting room, so I think that'll do it for interviews.
Yeah, great run for Paul and Bridger, as you just mentioned, but yeah, that'll do it here for us tonight at what started off as an extremely foggy race, but turned out being a great competitive race under the lights here at Daytona. What are your final thoughts here for tonight, and I guess as this season moves on to week number 2?
Well, it's honestly been a while since I saw some 3x3 action. That was really, really satisfying. That was really satisfying to see them stack it up 3x3, and for them to go clean for that long until a couple of wrecks happened. That just tells you how competitive this field is going to be for the season. Nick Miller stated it. This is probably the most competitive we've had iSCAR, and we've yet to look back from it. There's not anywhere between from when we started this series all the way to now, in which there was a drop in, people left and right and such. But I'm really, really looking forward to how this season.
Well, speaking of looking forward, we do have another full slate of races, of course. The Yost Auto Sales Series will spend one more week in the Sunshine State, and they will go to New Smyrna on Wednesday night. The Truck Series will follow up on Friday at Las Vegas. The Cup Series will be at Michigan next Saturday, and this DeNise Design Series will be at Kansas next Sunday night. So be sure to come back and check out those 4 events we have on tap for you. For Ezeckiel Reyes, I'm Dewey Schramm. Thanks for watching.